So today we'll start with parasitology. So parasitology is vast, but today, but today's topic is just introduction of parasitology. So in the introduction of parasitology, first of all, parasitology, this vast parasitology is broadly divided into two branches. One is protozoology, another one is helminthology. Now, what is protozoology or helminthology, or how we can differentiate into these two branches? Because protozoology contains all the organisms which are made up of only one cell or single cell. Okay, the structure is mostly like this. So this one cell structure contains some other things, like it may be some kind of proteins or some kind of bubbles or pseudopodium or some kind of flagella it may also contains. Okay. Now next come to helminthology. Helminthology means those organisms which have multiple cells. So their body made up of more than one cell, which means their body may be longer, shorter, okay, or maybe round sometimes, but in some cases those organisms are also visible by our naked eyes, okay, when they are in their adult form. So those are mainly included in helminthology. Next come to the definition of parasites. Okay, definition. So what is parasite? Parasites are generally living organisms. They depends on a living host. That host may be human, that host may be any animal or plant, but that depends on other animal, human or plant or any other living host. Why? For their nourishment, because they need food for their survival. Okay, nourishment and survival. Next, they multiply or undergo development in the host. So there are two things. One is definition. What is the definition? They are living organisms which depends on a living host. Host may be animal or human. Why? For their nourishment and survival. Second, they multiply or undergo development in the host. So inside their host, it may be inside the blood cell or maybe inside any vital organ, they multiply or they grow. They take the nourishment, they increase their size, they grow, they change their shape and they transform into next developmental form of their life cycle. Okay. Next is classification of parasites. So how can we classify parasite? The earlier one was classification of parasitology. The whole parasitology we can divide into protozoology and helminthology. Now the classification of parasites. So how can we divide? We can divide into single cell or unicellular parasite and multicellular parasite. Okay, so unicellular, the same as the earlier one, unicellular and multicellular. Okay, this is the main classification. So after that, what we call unicellular organism is protozoa. Okay. And next, what we call multicellular organism, helminths. Okay. Now this protozoa is again divided into or classified into 4 subdivisions. Those 4 subdivisions are: first is amoeba, second is flagellates, third is sporozoa, and fourth is ciliates. Okay. Now come to the example for each. Amoeba, example, Entamoeba, histolytica. Okay. Next example of flagellate, Giardia. Next example of sporozoa is very common, Plasmodium. Next example of ciliates, Balantidium. Okay. So here I am mentioning only one organism. In the next part, we'll explain one by one. Okay. Next come to helminths. It is again subdivided into 3 parts. First one is nematodes. Second one is cystodes. And third one is trematodes. Okay. Now come to the example. Nematode, example, Ascaris, lumbricoids. Cystode, example, Taenia solium. And trematodes, example, Fasciola hepatica. Okay. So the next part will explain again one by one. So today's video is up to this much only. Next day we'll start with amoeba. Okay. Till then, take care. Bye bye.